This is not a failure of the craft. Many of the brands that he points to are excellent at what they do. The fabrics are impeccable, the proportions are considered, and yet there is nothing in the work that announces itself as belonging to the moment in time rather than any other time. It could be from 2015 or 2008 or next year. It carries no cultural charge, no argument, no friction. It simply exists as a well made thing. And the same could be said for the dozens of brands currently populating the Paris and the Milan runways. They are not bad. They are in fact quite good at purely technical level, but they have nothing to say. And when fashion has nothing to say, it becomes a mere product, indistinguishable from any other consumer good. And this brings us to the conclusion that luxury is not the same. This is the point worth dwelling on because it cuts to the heart of what has gone wrong in the luxury sector specifically. For decades, the business model of luxury fashion rested on compact between brand and the consumer. You pay a premium and in return you receive not just a product but a piece of cultural meaning. The garment, the handbag or the shoe was a vessel of something larger, a creative vision, a point of view or a position in an ongoing cultural conversation. That compact is something which has broken down. Brands have stopped selling beautifully crafted objects, but they have started selling luxury narratives. As long as the products signal luxury, companies realized that they could cut corners on quality to boost margins and meet the growing demand without alienating the shoppers. And for a time, it did work. Between the 2000s and 2022, the world's millionaire population roughly quadrupled from 15 million to 60 million. The industry met the new demand not with better products but with more accessible product categories, streetwear collaborations, entry level sneakers, logo heavy accessories. That extended the brand's symbolic reach without really requiring investment in craft that had once justified the price points. However, that simulation has now begun to crack. Luxury sales fell 2% in 2024. The sneaker market, once the most commercially dynamic segment of fashion, declined by 5.8%. Social media, which amplified the simulation by making luxury imagery ubiquitous, has simultaneously become the tool through which the consumers see behind the curtain. Unboxing videos reveal inconsistent stitching, side by side comparisons expose declining material quality. The gap between what the narrative promises and what the product delivers has become visible in a way that it never was in an era of controlled retail environments and glossy magazine advertising. Consumers, it turns out, have limits, and we may be approaching those limits. So, what comes next out here? The question that follows from this diagnosis is not aesthetic, it's structural. Something does not stop working for no reason altogether. Systems do not stagnate in a vacuum. If culture has lost the capacity to innovate, the explanation lies not in the deficit of individual talent. There are many brilliant designers, musicians, filmmakers, and artists alive today, as there have been always. But the machinery that connects talent to the audience is something that is failing. That machinery, the financing structures, the distribution platforms, the institutional gatekeepers, the economic conditions that allow or prevent creative risk, has changed profoundly in the past 2 decades. Understanding how and whether the change is reversible is going to be the subject of part 2 of this series.